Hello, Simon Cardy from iGen here with Matt Pursler.
Hello.
And we are having a delightful time at Gamescom 2025. A lot of games here that we've managed to see and play, Matt. But one thing that caught our eye at Opening Night Live was a new trailer for Fallout Season 2 on Prime Video. What did you think?
I thought this looks very, very good. Obviously, we've got to wait. It's December 17th that the show is out. But so far, I think that first trailer is giving us a good look at exactly what we wanted from this show, which is it's New Vegas. It is New Vegas, the show. Set a few years after the game, but we're going to be going back to very iconic locations from that game and also meeting a very iconic character from that game.
I think you're talking about Mr. House, played by Justin Theroux.
Yes,
we saw a little glimpse of Mr. House in Season 1 in flashback form, but we're seeing him in all his New Vegas glory, I guess, this time around. Do you think he's gonna be the main villain? It makes sense, but he's a very shady character, to say the least.
Yeah, obviously the interesting thing here is that with the stuff that is set in the post-apocalypse is going to be after the events of New Vegas, which means that what we decided to do with Mr. House in that game, who knows how that will be reflected. But certainly it looks like in the past, during the times that we're seeing before the bombs fell, we're going to see how Cooper, who eventually becomes the Ghoul, he met with Mr. House, and he knew, obviously Mr. House knew that the bombs were going to fall. He's kind of this mathematical genius that did a lot of prediction work. And then obviously, as we saw from Fallout Season 1, was in the room when Vault-Tec was like, yeah, we're going to drop the bombs. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that relates to Cooper's story and how that turns him into the Ghoul. There's obviously a lot more ground to cover there.
We also got our first proper look at Deathclaw in live action, and arguably the most iconic Fallout creature, in my mind anyway, the most fearsome. And it was nice to see it was teased at the end of Season 1. Do you think we're also then getting like a mini nuke to kill it with? Because I don't know about you, they're very hard to kill, and a mini nuke was most of the time, I needed one of those.
I think the show so far has been very good at showing off the different weapons that are in Fallout and using them in creative ways, kind of the junk jet from Season 1. So my hope is that to kill a nuclear kind of mutated threat, you might need a mini nuclear bomb. So yeah, I hope there's a bit of that going on. There's also we saw other things that you'd expect. There was a sequence with rad roaches kind of chasing the vault dwellers from where Lucy used to live. So there was a shot of that, but also a Securitron, like perhaps one of the most iconic robots of the New Vegas kind of game. And obviously it's Victor. It is kind of like Mr. House's kind of personal Securitron with the cowboy hat kind of visage on the screen. So I'm hoping that there's a little bit of interesting kind of work there, because obviously a character as well as a creature that can, well, I'll say creature, a robot that can pose threats.
Yeah, we also saw other things fans of the game New Vegas will recognize. I mentioned Dino Delight. We've got the motel, probably one of the first locations people think of when they think of New Vegas. I do anyway. That's the one that sticks first in my mind. We see what looks like maybe the battle of the motel going on. The ghouls firing guns. We see Lucy with a sniper rifle hiding in the dinosaur.
Yeah, so Dinky the dinosaur is well known because it's a point of interest on the map in New Vegas, right? But the thing I really liked about what they showed in the trailer is Lucy is in the mouth of Dinky, but she's using a sniper rifle. Well, that's exactly where Boone, who is our sniper companion from New Vegas, would have been set up in there as his sniper nest. So I think there's a very clearly pointing to there's going to be a lot of Easter eggs. The first season was packed full of Easter eggs, so of course Season 2 is going to be. Yeah. But it's nice to get the first one through a trailer.
Absolutely. I mean, we were both big fans of the show. You reviewed it for IGN, gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Amazing, by all accounts. And I think the thing we especially loved about it was that it wasn't a one-to-one adaptation, right? It took the essence of Fallout and made its own story. It had all the things you want to see. Are you a little bit trepidatious that maybe in Season 2, because we're going to New Vegas, there's a lot of things people know, a lot of characters people already know, a lot more preconceptions about the characters and places. Do you think maybe they might fall a little into the trap of trying to retell a story we already know?
Yeah, I'm hoping that obviously New Vegas had several kind of celebrities, actual actors that were part of that cast. Danny Trejo, Zachary Levi,
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry, yes, sadly not there for us anymore. But I hope that it stays away from those characters. Maybe the TV equivalent of a note that references back to them, but I do think that it is stronger for telling its own story. What will be the interesting part is how kind of the things that are part of New Vegas bring new storylines in. We know that Caesar's Legion are in the show, and we see what it seems to be is that they're going to capture Lucy. Obviously Caesar's Legion we know is one of the main factions from Fallout New Vegas, and how let's say, different they were in their methods to Mr. House and the NCR and those kind of like characters and factions. So it'll be interesting to see a game that is so well known for factions and the way they interact, how that is interpreted through the show rather than just taking the characters and taking the storylines and continuing them.
Exactly, and it looks like we're getting a lot more of the flashbacks again. There were some of my favorite parts of season 1, kind of tying together the Ghoul story. I feel like he was maybe the storyline I cared most about. It was the most intriguing, and I thought they some really good bits at the end of season 1. I'm going to spoil it just in case you haven't watched it yet, but really came together, and it looks like we are getting more of him and his wife in actual, what would it be, just Vegas, not New Vegas at that point, in more modern present day times even. God, time's confusing, isn't it? But yeah, I'm kind of really looking forward to that stuff. I just thought, you know, it looks like more of the same in a good way.
Yeah, certainly it feels like when we say more of the same, season 1 was so good because it captured the essence of Fallout and it built like a really compelling, it was almost as if you got a new Fallout game, you just didn't play it, you watched it. I'm hoping that's what this feels like, in the same way that the last one felt a bit like it was adjacent to Fallout 4 with a little bit of Fallout 1 in it. This, I hope, is that for Fallout New Vegas.
I've got one more question for you.
Yeah.
We've seen bits and bobs from the season so far. Obviously, I haven't seen everything. Is there one place, creature, person from New Vegas you're particularly fond of that you'd like to see pop up in the show that we haven't seen yet?
It's less New Vegas and more, let's say Fallout, but I'm really hoping there's more of the Enclave this time around. Like we've seen in that trailer, there's obviously a lot of disaster going on with the Brotherhood of Steel. We see their airships crashing. I'm hoping that storyline starts to take us into kind of like the Enclave side of stuff, because they're so iconic to Fallout. And I'm pleased that they only had a minor role to play kind of last season, but I do think it's time for them to step up.
Yeah, I think the one thing I want is I want another vault side story. Those are like my favorite things when I'm playing Fallout, just going into a random vault and just kind of seeing what has gone wrong in this one.
You want a vault full of Garys is what
that would be a good one. I mean, I don't want them to just copy. I want them to come up with their own one in that spirit. You know what I mean? Something where you go in and, like in last season, you had the one where, oh, everything seems fine. Oh no, everything's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite ones, and I hope we get more of that. You kind of get that in New Vegas in essence. You think on the surface, oh, this looks bright and colorful, maybe a place civilization. No, it's horrible. Everywhere in Fallout tends to be horrible. But you know what? The show looks lovely. Well, we did get that teaser. We'll look forward to seeing much more in December when the show is out. 17th of December, I believe, on Prime Video. Fallout Season 2. And for much more, anything games, TV, movies related, especially at Gamescom, keep it locked to IGN.